Hello my friends, esteemed colleagues, relatives. Many people ask, why do cysts form? Of course, there is a known thing that if you have, let's say, accident, you broke the skin and some dirt came under the skin. When skin starts healing, if the dirt remains there, it is going to become encapsulated and it forms cyst. Later on, body is going to try to push it, open the cyst up and release whatever dirt was in there. So we know that cysts occur in places of irritation, for example, when the irritated place becomes dirty. But then we have cysts that happen inside of the body. Now, they also happen because of dirt or toxicity. It's the same thing. It's something that resonates with frequency that should not be inside of the body. And where do those cysts form? Usually they form on organs, in an area where the organ or tissue is being supplied by blood. Now, what do those cysts contain? It's usually toxic liquid, toxic plasma. When I talk about dehydration, I always mention that when the blood becomes less hydrated, when it's lacking plasma, then body will not detoxify. It cannot eliminate the stuff out. So it starts pushing it in the areas where it does not cause much problem or least amount of problems. Now, what happens is that, it's going to go in subcutaneous tissue, but body is trying to keep it as clean as possible because cells will not hydrate with toxic blood. Unfortunately, if we stay in dehydration for a longer time, the tissue and consequently blood becomes more and more toxic and more dehydrated, because body is calculating what is more important, maintaining the plasma level, or are some toxins so dangerous that they have to be expelled no matter how much in need of plasma the body is. And more and more toxic we become, the body will have to eliminate. So it's looking for places how to eliminate with losing least amount of plasma, which at the end ends up being skin. But very often there are organs in the body that the program is designed to keep as clean as possible. In women, these organs are reproductive organs because they have to be clean to support the growth of a new baby. So what happens if the blood is toxic? As it comes to reproductive organs, could be uterus or could be breast, the body is going to try protecting these areas as much as it can, and it will create a cleansing station. I mention very often that when subcutaneous tissue is toxic, and if blood lymph is rising, or even if just simply the tissue becomes overly toxic, that the lymph that is in there becomes toxic and is not allowed now to seep back into the blood. We are starting to have water retention. I always mention water retention has nothing to do with the amount of salt that you are taking, other than when body sees opportunity because plasma levels are up. Again, calculation comes, okay, what is more important? Is maintaining, hydrating, increasing the plasma levels, or is it more important to get rid of some of the toxicity? Well, but if we are not hydrating, then what happens is that cyst starts opening up, growing. Basically, it is nothing more than encapsulated toxic plasma. Body is trying to shield the organ that is important to be clean by kind of selecting, trapping the toxic plasma and the toxins from the plasma. And we know that the blood entering cyst is dirtier, more toxic than blood leaving the cyst. So basically, it is like a cleansing station, additional cleansing station. And if we have a surgery to remove this cyst, well, another one is going to grow. And you can have multiple ones because one may not be enough, so you have multiple ones. It's very similar to growing tumor. And actually, cyst may turn into tumor because the shell itself starts proliferating, thickening, and growing because it's low on voltage. Now, this also involves brain to stop sending the electricity to the organ, which means it has to broadcast some thought that is frequency-wise similar to the one of the organ where the cyst is growing. The cyst can be different in sizes. More toxic we are, more toxicity body is trying to separate, not allowed to go to the places where which one is protecting more than the others. Well, the cyst is going to be growing. They can be big. And yeah, doctors can sometimes stick needle in there and just get the toxic plasma out to help the body. Now, we may be drinking plasma and helping to increase plasma levels of the blood, and cyst still continues growing. Why? Because the toxicity level is high, and the toxins, once when body starts eliminating the toxins, but also because plasma level is rising now from the tissue, we are dislodging the stored toxins. So blood is rising, but it's becoming more toxic. Has to be eliminated. Toxicity has to be eliminated. So it's eliminated partially by expelling it out through cleansing process, and partially whatever did not cleanse at the moment and is entering the area of the organ that is protected is going to seep and create more volume of the cyst that is there. If we allow to detoxify, as the toxic level of the blood is coming down, then the toxic lympha, toxic plasma from the cyst is going to slowly start seeping in, and body will be eliminating it because you are hydrated well, and the cyst starts diminishing, and then body dissolves it when it's no longer necessary. Now again, for dissolving, it is important for the body to have GC-MAF. And if we are eating carbohydrates, we are not producing GC-MAF marker. So cyst is not going to be marked for destruction, and it may remain there simply because body is genetically being altered and works partially as animal program and partially as plant program. And plants do not create GCMF because they are producing glycosid hydrolase to hydrolyze glucose to use it for energy. And when we do the same with our body, this is what happens. Instead of nagalase, we start producing glycosid hydrolase, or what we have remained, the crooks have remained now into nagalase, and marker is not produced. So body, white blood cells, the macrophage does not know what to destroy. This is why I say macrophages, white blood cells, are not our immune system. They are garbage disposal system, but if garbage is not marked, they do absolutely nothing. They just increase in level because body realizes that something here has to be taken apart. So it is getting the signaling, but the part that has to be taken out is not marked. So you are increasing white blood cells, and they have no purpose because they don't know what to take out. And you might be getting in leukemia. So things, it's all connected. And we are told always that, well, cyst is one thing, leukemia is another thing, inflammation is another thing. Well, it's all related. It's all connected. So anyone that suffers from cyst, it doesn't matter what kind of cyst it is, if you follow the self-healer's protocol, if you hydrate and cleanse and change your diet to stop polluting your body, then part of the cleansing is going to be the elimination of the cyst, because not only that your cyst is going to start diminishing, but because you have changed the diet and you start eating correctly, your body starts, your cells start producing GCMF, and GCMF starts marking now things that no longer serve the body, like tumors or cysts, and it starts marking them, and bingo, then you have macrophage going at it, taking it apart. And this is when pain may occur. So if you had a cyst and you are on a protocol, and all of a sudden you start having sharp pain, like squeezes and let's go, and sharp like a needle, and then let's go. Well, this is macrophage starting to taking down some growth inside of your body. It's part of the healing pains. Normally, cyst does not hurt unless it becomes inflamed. Now we say, oh yeah, it becomes infected. Most of the time, there is no infection. Inflammation doesn't mean infection. Inflammation means that the body got programmed that decided it is very important now to hydrate this area, and if cells are not hydrating because lymph is still toxic, then it will just start increasing the pressure of the external liquid of lymph and pushing the liquid into the cell. We call this inflammation. Bacteria may not be anywhere around. So what we are told, that inflammation is because of some pathological state of fight of gain and antigen, this is bull. And we have to start learning the truth. I know that those of you who have seen more of my videos or read my articles, you know all this, but I'm just responding to some people that wanted to hear me explain cyst again. I don't remember what videos I made or what, so no big deal. When I have time, I do that. So don't worry about cysts. Don't have them cut out surgically unless the cyst is huge and it is good to remove all this liquid out. So better it is to poke it with needle and suck it out, and then I'll leave it there to keep accumulating, and every time just suck it out. But of course, this doesn't bring enough money to doctors, so they will always say, well, no, this has to be taken out, and they will force you to have surgical process. Problem with surgery is that you are disturbing the electromagnetic field, which causes scar to form later on, and the cyst is going to start growing back again. Not only liquid, but cyst starts growing back. So you didn't do much except spend money, a lot of money, for surgery that may not have been in your best interest. This way, knowing what's happening and why it's happening is beneficial. So when you have another of those schmucks telling you that this has to be cut out, well, ask why and then make your own decision, because it may not be to your benefit, because your body will make another one anyway. So this is as much as I think needs to be said about cysts. Don't fear them, but also don't ignore them. Change. Start hydrating, start cleansing, start changing your diet. And you have nothing to worry about. Thank you for listening. Till next time. Love you all. God bless you.